What's up, YouTube? Southern Comic Geek coming to you with some more haul videos. So yes, we've got some more goodies in. It's raining like cats and dogs. I never understood that. Who's ever seen cats and dogs rain? Anyway, we do get a lot of books in, and hit a bunch of comic book shops up Wednesday on my way into Louisiana, and hit a couple on my way back. What's going on, Rob Boswell? How are you doing today, sir? Hopefully everything is going well in Kentucky. But so got a bunch of that stuff in, and then when I got home, there was a big one in the mail, and so I'll show that one at the end of the video. And I've got another one coming in today. Woo! So hopefully we have some more stuff to show for later. Having said that, before I get started, make sure that if you haven't already done so, to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and hit the bell notification that when things like this drop, you will be one of the first people to know. I do want to make sure that everybody is aware of all of the contests that are going on for my channels right now. One of them being the 400 subscriber video giveaway, in which case someone can win a first appearance of Guardians of the Galaxy, the OG team. And so, as well as a couple of other books. Spider-Woman #1 is one of those books. So, having said that, you can go to the video that says 400 subscriber giveaway announcement, put in the comments that I want to win or I want to win, just depending on whether you're from the north or the south, east or west. And that enters you into the contest, because pretty soon we're going to cross that threshold. We are at 398 subscribers as of this morning. And check, and check. Good deal, good deal. And so we are at 398 subscribers as of this morning. So we'll be crossing over that and be doing a giveaway video then. We also have a video or giveaway right now for this baby right here. The second appearance of Gambit, also a newsstand. And so about a 9092 copy. Certainly great to be free, or possibility of free to you. And you just have to be 18 years or older. You don't have to be present to win, and you don't have to be in the United States. And Samuel David, hello, how are you? But to enter that, just comment on one of my recent videos, something, and I will enter you in on the wheel, hashtag unrigged wheel, and we'll spin it, hopefully for you to win it. And that's going to be given away, provided that I hit 450 subscribers before months in, or by months in of August, as well as 1,000 followers on Instagram. And so on the Insta, I am, because those Instagram subscribers, they bump up a lot quicker than them YouTube ones. I'm at 933 on the Insta. So yeah, that's what we got. And you can win this. Hola, Paris, Paris. See, that's how you would say Perry if he was over in France. So Paris, oui, oui. That's what you would say when Perry was in the bathroom. See, you didn't know that I was fluent in French. I even know karate and like 6 other words, Japanese words. But, and then this is how you say cold in Eskimo. Brr, brr. Yeah, that's right. You learn a lot of stuff here on this channel besides Comic Book Madness, but that is the majority of what you learn here on this channel. So let's dig into what we got. First off, I got Mask of the Phantasm Batman. This is an ash can from back in the day when they released that movie. Batman animated series, one of the best Batman for sure. And picked that up. Magic Lasso, how are you doing today? So yeah, it's actually kind of a it's a square bound book there. A little harder Batman book to get in the run, but Batman 666. The Mark of the Beast. That beast being Batman. I'm a beast. I'm a beast. So that's first Damian Wayne in Batman costume. Batman 561. I knew that when I started getting a lot of the Batman that I was going to end up going down this rabbit hole. Hopefully I can stop myself before I go bankrupt. 562. So I've got all of 400, and the vast majority of these 500s. It would be a stand-up comedy act if I was actually indeed standing up. However, I'm sitting down. But yep, thank you for stopping by, JB. Batman 566. Batman 564. Batman 590. I think it was Brubaker, right? No, he wasn't right now. Wrote this one, 594. So Batman 388. Got all of the 600s, all the 700s, which wouldn't say much. There went but 13. 547. Got a lot of the 500s. And so inching away at this. Of course, when I get into like the threes, especially the twos and earlier, get a lot more pricey and harder to find. You don't just find them in the wild, really. 548. At least I don't down here in the South. I mean, you get these books that you pay $2-3 for, but you don't normally find that. 549. There's your reflection cover, Steven Spot. Not talking about the reflection of the light in the bag. Don't apologize for the glare. Bub taught me that. Can't learn much else from Bub that's legal. But yeah, so there's Batman reflective in the top hat of the Penguin. I'm a foe of Batman, but I'm also the guy that trained Rocky. That's right. That's right. Then we've got Batman 550. This is the Chase Collectible Edition. They've got cards on the inside of this book. There's one version of that does not have that. This is the Dollar Comics version of Batman 567, which is the first appearance of Cassandra Cain, I think, in the Batman costume or Batwoman costume, Batgirl costume, whatever she identifies with today, right? But yeah, I've got the regular version, but picked up the dollar version as well. Comic Mag Musings. Hello, sir. How are you? Got the Wolverine versus Sabretooth, which is a reprint of Wolverine 7 or 8 from back in the day. Bill Sienkiewicz cover, the True Believers version. I picked up Batman 94, the 1 in 25 incentive variant. They had the other ones, but they were a little more pricey than this one. Not sure why this one was priced. It was only $20, which is a little pricier than what I want to pay for a brand new comic. However, it was a 1 in 25 variant. So, I mean, if it's less than 25, I'm like, okay, that's fairly fair, if that makes sense. Or is that an oxymoron? Anyhow, then we got Miss Marvel 18. This is the first full appearance of the Mystique. So she had a couple of appearances prior to this. However, she was disguised as Nick Fury and then as somebody else. That's a pretty decent copy. I was surprised because this comic shop here, they've got a wide selection, especially new books. If you're wanting to get into something different, they definitely have a good selection of new books and a lot of older books that are just a little pricey sometimes. But yeah, I picked that up for $17. It's got a spine roll, but it could be pressed out if I was so inclined to do so. And yeah, so I was surprised about that. Probably about a 7075 copy. Then we got Batman 580. Little Larry Hama writing on the Batman there. 579. Yeah, Magic Lasso. I've been eyeing that book for a while now. Saw it at the con in Huntsville, Alabama that I went to a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, I just don't want to pull the trigger and it was a little more minty copy than what that one is. But hey, 770 for that issue. I wanted it in the PC, but I didn't necessarily want a 9.8. So thought it was a good little compromise there. And then the shop, because I asked, I said, hey, mind give me a little discount? Gave me 10% off. So there you go. Batman 578. 577. 576. I think it's the Miss Marvel book after that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's 19. So Miss Marvel 19 is my birthday book because it was released August of 1978. And August of 1978, my birthday is the 19th. So it just kind of worked out that the issue number was the same as the date. And it's got the real Captain Marvel on there. Marvel. Batman 575. Batman 574. Little Huntress action on the cover there. Then we got Batman 573. Looks like Luthor is trying to take over a little new territory in the Gotham. 572. Looks like somebody's hoping for the right side of the flip coin. 571. Looks like Bane has taken from Venom to guns. There we go. Here we got Batman 381. This town is not big enough for the Batman. And the Batman with the beard, I don't know. Never seen Batman with a goatee. That's a dead giveaway there. Batman 545. Little Joker and Demon action on the front cover. Abracadabra, Alcatraz, the Joker and the Demon are after the Bat. Alcazat. The Demon are after the Bat. Batman 542. What happened to my face? Then we got 1-2 Comic Talk in the chat. Thanks for joining us today. Made me feel low. Hey, look, there's plenty of people that make me feel that way now too. So, got Transformers number 8, the first appearance of the Dinobots. Me, Grimlock, mad. Yeah, so this is the first appearance of the Dinobots in comics. We got Edge of the Venomverse number 2. This is the Gwenpool version, and this is an homage to Giant Size X-Men number 1. So I think I'm finally going to change out my Wolverine. I've been looking at the 181 and all that for a while now, so I think I'm going to change that out to do the Twinsy wall, which is either the homages to include facsimile covers. Which, having said that, if I leave the Hulk 181 up there, I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the wall, and I got, I think, 2 more since I did that wall of all my homages just to 181. So it's a popular cover to swipe. I really wish I would have picked up that G.I. Joe that just came out that swiped it, but that thing's got a little bit pricey for a new book for me. Then we got Wolverine, or this is Old Man Logan 31. This is a lenticular cover to Wolverine 2. Man, it shows up way better in that video like that. And of course, I got Wolverine 2. So this might go up on the Twinsy wall there. Phoenix Resurrection, a little art germ love for the Phoenix. Homage. If we're going back to France with Paris, we have homage. Shadow Man 16. Knew you had to have a little Valiant love in here somewhere. This is the first appearance of Dr. Mirage, or at least the guy that became Dr. Mirage a little bit later. And so then we got Batman 563. This is a J. Scott Campbell cover. And talking about homage, we've got the reprint of the Incredible Hulk versus and Wolverine. And then we got Justice League, and this is the movie variant. Don't remember what the issue on this one is, but this is the one for what is something Mike, whatever. Perry probably watched the movie, but I don't remember what the name of the movie is. Anyhow, got the Justice League being all manly out there. It's funny. I'm going to take a picture of this and put it with my Batman 60, which shows Batman sliding down the pole. I guess even as far back as the Golden Age, Batman's been a stage dancer of sorts. So, finally worked his way up. And those are all the ones that I got in the mail when I got home yesterday, except for the Big Boy book, which I'm going to say for Magic Mike. There you go. That was Mike something. We got Batman 96. Not sure who all's reading the latest run of Batman, but I'm definitely digging the story thus far. And I know that the story probably could be T-Pain. How's it going, sir? I know definitely the story could probably be sped up. It's not really that slow. It's not a Tom King slow burn, but I know they're going to culminated at issue 100, so I know where it's cutting off basically. Picked up a couple of ones I was missing in Detective. So Detective 1011, 1009, and then I got Marvel Premiere 19 Iron Fist. This is the first appearance of Colleen Wing, as well as an advertisement for Hulk 181. So there were 3 books that some collectors like to have all the first appearances. They're weird like that, right? So we got the Foom ones, and then you have the advertisements for the same character. And so this was one of them. The other one is Thor, forget the number, but they just did a facsimile cover of it, and I picked it up. And then the Daredevil, forget the number of it. But this is the other one that has the Hulk 181 advertisement for it. I wonder if that was when they first started doing movie poster covers. I think you're talking about the Magic Mike. They released a whole bunch at the same time. They got a Fugitive one. I've got it. They've got the Matrix one. I don't have it. They got a lot of them, and that's another wall that one day I'm going to do is put like the movie covers up, because I know that here recently, like with Deceased and Deceased Planet, Dead Planet, or whatever, they have been doing a lot of those. Did you see that the first Comic Tom had IG with? Oh no! Man, that sucks. Yeah, Magic Mike. Yeah, I've DC done a lot of them, and of course other people have done them as well. And I've been pulling them together. One I really like is the Mask, the Joker being like the Mask from Jim Carrey. Yeah, there's a lot of cool ones out there. First Sabretooth, Iron Fist 14. Oh yeah, that would suck. My Iron Fist 14's off to grading, so anxious to see when it will get back, what grade I ended up getting at. Biggie Shack, what's going on, sir? Got his 98 today. Gonna open it on the Power Hour. Well, definitely that is a good place to open up a New Mutants 98. First Deadpool, first Vanessa, and then also first Gideon. Detective Comics 1008. Mr. Freeze action. This is not the Mr. Freeze that you might remember in Arnold. Right? Okay. Darkhawk number 11. Picked these up on the cheap at 2nd and Charles. Darkhawk 20. Darkhawk 28. Darkhawk 33. Really liked the early Darkhawks. Thought the story, art. I liked Manley's rendition of the Darkhawk sharp helmet. Really didn't like the rounding of the helmet that later artists did, like in this one, Darkhawk 41. And then the story got really wonky, which happened a lot in the 90s. And then they kind of retconned all that when they reintroduced Darkhawk in War of the Kings. And so it got a little bit better. We've got Detective Comics 997, Countdown to 1,000. Have any of y'all seen the yeah, and I picked up a Darkhawk number 1 in the dollar bin. It was like a 9.4 copy in the dollar bin the other day in Huntsville. I was so surprised. I've got a direct and a newsstand copy, and the newsstand copy I picked up at a con in January. There's a little yellowing on it. You can see it in that newsstand copy, but still real nice one there. Biggie says that got some other goodies in there too. First Goblin, first Rocket, Secret Wars Mild variant. Oh, cool. Looks like Biggie's got a bunch of bangers he's fixed to throw out there. Then we got Exo Manowar number 8. This is the pre-order edition. Of course, Matt Kent on this book here, and that's the Clayton Crane cover. I don't think it is one I'm going to get signed. If you are in the area and interested, Clayton Crane is doing several signings as he makes a loop through the United States. And so he's coming to Covington, Louisiana. The date just doesn't work for me. The place would, because it's only 2 hours from my house. But then he comes to Baldwin, Mississippi, which is 3 hours. The date works. I'll go and do that one. And then he's going up to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, just south of Nashville. And then it seems like he's going over to North Carolina. But you can check his IG page, and there's a post showing where he's going to be at and the dates if you are interested in getting Clayton Crane to sign some of your books. X-O Manowar number 11. This is another pre-order edition. Got these at Books A Million. Unfortunately, my local Books A Million is closing, and Books A Million, of course, owns Second and Charles. Well, last year at the end of the year, they took all their comic books out and did away with them. I just assumed that they were going to send them to Second and Charles. Just kind of makes sense, right? And get out of just selling single issue comic books at Books A Million. However, at this one, I guess they just put them in the back room and said, hey, look, we're fixing to get rid of the store anyway. Let's pull the stuff out. And so all the stuff was half off. So the dollar books, 50 cents and the like. And so I picked up a couple of things. Biggie says, might get the aficionado box too with my first Juggernaut. Pretty much $1,000 worth of book. I'm telling you, Biggie, gonna have the banger wall behind you, man. Then we got X-O Manowar number 10. This is X-O Manowar number 34. This is from the series before that other one. Then we've got Wildcats number 19. This is one I was missing out of that run. And, of course, Grifter, seen on the cover, is going to be introduced. The rumor is that he's going to basically be, because, you know, Lucius Fox says, hey, I don't want to be your Alfred, that Grifter is going to be much like Alfred was. Probably a little more so because he's or more of a help in the field too, because, you know, he is who he is. But Wildcats one's been specking up, which I've got a couple of issues of that. I've got 2 newsstands of that. I know I'm a weird 90s kid. But man, you can't. Story wasn't all that much, but, you know, Jim Lee art, great. Yeah, BAM has some great deals. What I hope Magic Lasso is not going to happen. So a few years ago, BAM was a publicly traded. He did not do that cover right there. It did look like him, but the signature is different on the front. And he is listed on the credits on the front cover, but I don't know what all he did. Hopefully Magic Lasso, that BAM is not going to go out of business. The family that owns BAM took the company back private, which they did a lot of store closings trying to trim things up. And hopefully they're not going to go the way of a lot of the other bookstores. So let's see who did this puppy right here. The layouts. So Jim Lee did the layouts on the inside, and it looks, yeah, I mean, it looks like Lee art. You know, the variances are probably the inks. The finishes were done by Bennett. So yeah, it looks a lot like Lee's art because he laid it out and then they did the finishes. So Red Hood and the Outlaws number 5. This is from the Rebirth there. Yeah, so Jay Lee, I know he did like the Wildcats. There was another series that they came out with, had some foil covers on number 1, which a lot of them did back then. What is it? Wildcats Trilogy, I think is what it's called, that Jay did a lot of the colors on, or the covers on. Eternal Warrior number 7. Then we come back with a little Darkhawk at Darkhawk number 30. X-Men number 6. This is from volume 4, I believe. Wolverine 144. Batman 544. Little demon action on the cover there. Batman 543. Batman 546. The Priest of Joker or something, right? Ancient Ritual, Arcane Rite, Joker and Demon will spill some blood tonight. Okay. Then we got Detective Comics 1019. Picked this one up at Books A Million. PvP, or Player versus Player, is number 0. Little homage there. Homage to Giant Size X-Men 1. Picked up this Free Comic Book Day, The Resistance, which was one I wanted to pick up, and after I started hearing some good things about it, it had done sold out. So glad to see the Free Comic Book Day. I can get it for free. Deceased Dead Planet number 2. This is the movie variant there. Anybody in the comments want to fill me in on which movie that is? I'd appreciate it. Then we got Defend Comics, the Free Comic Book Day. Don't know anything about that. And Manhwa, contemporary Korean comics. Okay. Then we got Lumberjanes, Farewell to Summer. This is from Boom, this Free Comic Book Day. I know that Tacoma mentioned liking Lumberjanes. Don't know anything else about it outside of that. And then we've got Bibi and Mayu and the Fox and Tanuki, Little Tanuki. I'm assuming this is some kind of Japanimation, but outside of that, I don't know. Then we've got the Tick Spoon. So that was pretty cool. Picked it up for free. FREE, that spells free. CreditReport.com, baby. Saw their ads on my TV. Thought about getting them, too lazy. Now instead of looking fly, looking jack. Better quit doing that. Boy, I'm a poet. Didn't know it. The Book of Eli. Oh, yeah. Throwing it out there. My sister likes that Lumberjanes. Okay. Street Fighter number 100. Hadouken! Free Comic Book Day again. And then Free Comic Book Day strikes again with Invincible. Never got into that. Then we got the Marvel free previews of X of Swords. So usually pick these up. Never can tell. And I also like looking and seeing what I'm missing here. Yeah, since they're all flowing at one time, it does appear as if it's Free Comic Book year. Then we got Batman 96. Again, pretty good story. Like the ending. Don't want to spoil it for anybody that has not read it as of yet. So I like to pick up the A cover and the B cover, if possible. And so my LCS has been putting those back for me. That's where I got those from. Then we got Joker Warzone. So it's a checklist of various comics. But we got Star Wars number 5. Hopefully can get jump started back on this. I was really getting into it. This is the story that takes place directly after Empire Strikes Back. And so it's pretty good. And hopefully can get back into it after. And Marvel needs something to get me back into the stuff. I've been buying more DC and indie stuff. They just haven't really. I've heard some good stuff about Empire, but I don't know that I've heard enough to go through the expense of getting Empire, just because the cast of characters are really not my forte. And that's their big deal right now. X of Swords, of course, they'll pull me in a little bit with that. But I've dropped several of the X-Men titles. I'm keeping X-Men and X-Force for right now. But I dropped Marauders. I never got into Excalibur, but I dropped New Mutants. Not sure about Hellions. It's still relatively new. Not sure if I picked up the first 2, but not sure about past that. I'm not picking up X Factor, except for that homage they got to 181 that's coming out. But yeah, so that's problematic if there are others like me that are just not getting back into the Marvel stuff. Saw a YouTube video by Thinking Critical about Marvel being in trouble. Obviously they're not in trouble financially because they're backed by the House of the Mouse, but you know, they definitely seem to lack leadership when it comes to coming back from this Corona deal. DC has taken the forefront. Some of the little guys are, surviving out there, like the Booms and the like, but, still putting out the content. IDW is probably going to be a casualty of Corona, and who knows? I mean, because think about the hype. Aside from Venom and aside from Thor, what else is hyped right now with Marvel? It just to me, I mean, those books are so hyped up. I think that Batman and Batman related titles are hyped right now. So of course, Death Metal are. Samuel Davis says, "I'm skipping Empire, picking up Joker War and the Deceased books." Look, yeah, I'm picking up all the Joker Wars to include like Nightwing and Batgirl. The tie-ins that you could do without if you wanted to. But I picked up the Batgirl the other day, and it wasn't all that bad. It's a pretty good story. I don't typically pick up that series. Don't typically pick up Nightwing, especially now he went from being Dick to Rick. So who knows? But yeah, me too. And then the 3 Jokers that's coming out, whether or not they make that canon or not, killer Jason Fabok covers. That one's going to break the bank because I'm going to have to get them all here. Hi, enjoying the stream here. Yours is the 3rd frame Monopoly board I've seen recently. Is this a trend or something? Just really curious. Wow, that's the first I've ever heard of that. A lot of people do comment on the Monopoly board. This is an original release of the Monopoly board. And if you saw, the houses are wood as opposed to plastic now. The prices on the various deals are different than what they are now. And the chance and community chess cards are different than what you see now. So, yeah, that's cool. I hadn't seen anybody else have those. Yeah, but I've been picking up the Deceased. See, I didn't really get into Deceased the first go around. But I've been picking up, going back and picking up because they got a lot of the homage, like the movie Nightmare on Elm Street and It and stuff like that, the homages that I like. And then the new series, I picked it up from issue 1. That's what I'm talking about. I got Joker War. They're really, and I've never been a big DC guy, Batman's been just, my main thing with DC. And so maybe, Joker War surrounds Batman. But yeah, Marvel, Marvel has just really not done it. The thrill that I got, like with House of X, is at 4 or 5 where they all die, and then that's when we realize they're being, reborn. That's that dialogue with Nightcrawler and Wolverine before they go out to take down Master Mold. I mean, that was great. And I'm like, man, this is awesome. This reminds me why I used to read X-Men so much. It's just, it has fallen off to a large amount of orgies. Hey, that's great, but I'm not here for the sex scene. If I wanted the sex scene, I'd get Faithless. Or some of those other comics. I'm not here for that. I want the X-Men. A little nuanced stuff in the background is one thing. The tension that's always between Cyclops and Jean Grey and Wolverine, because she's committed to Cyclops, he's committed to her. Before they threw Emma Frost in the picture, but Grant Morrison, that's another story. But that Wolverine, he loves her, but he wants the best for her. That I could deal with that because you knew it was there, but it really never went no further than that. But this constant thing, and it's every single cotton picking issue. Why can't you give me a story outside of that? Is there no action to be had? What about the X-Men where I can't remember the guy's name, but him and Cyclops, kicked the butt, and Magneto's in there, eating the steak, looking all BA. What happened to those issues? You know, why can't we get a good story? You got all these properties, all this IP that you ripped the artist off and the creators off because you bought them, you paid for them. I'm not saying you didn't do anything illegal. I didn't say you did anything illegal. I'm just saying that this is all your IP and you can do whatever you want with it, and all you're doing is peeing all over it, essentially, because you know you're so much. Deadpool trolled X-Men pretty hard last issue. So yeah, but and you know, with Deadpool, you kind of expect that. I mean, that's the kind of character he is, you know, and so you're like, okay, yeah, that's great. But you're expecting action in the main, especially in the main X-Men title. You're expecting action, team interaction, not team interaction in the way of the bedroom. This is team interaction out on the battlefield. Called them a bunch of fascists. And see, that's the other thing, Biggie, because Xavier's dream has always been coexistence. Coexistence. They preach this coexistence. And ever since God Love Man Kills, it's been woe is me, I'm a mutant. Okay, I can still see it, right? You know, even though it's a woe is me, they say, hey, pick your head up, let's get back out there and let's fight to make that dream happen. Now all of a sudden Xavier's taking up the mantle that he wants to be a separate race. They're a separate race. They don't even really call themselves humans anymore. They want to be a separate race. They want to have separate stuff. It's like, wait a minute. You're doing what you got mad about everybody else doing. And so the story makes zero sense to me. And that's what they are. I'm a mutant and you're not. That's like saying, well, hey, I'm white and you're black, or I'm black and you're white. Why is this an issue? Some people are making a bigger issue than it has to be. Deadpool run in Staten Island is incredible. Check out Monster Island. Exactly. You know, and so I like that. You know, I like all purveyor of all music, right? You know, I you know, got a wide taste palette when it comes to that. Same thing with my reading. So, you know, I'll read a Deadpool, a slapstick, you know, stuff like that, man, it's just funny. But then I'll get into the action. Then I'll get into the serious, thought-provoking stuff. Like God Country, to me, was one of those books where, okay, I just really enjoyed the story. Art was okay. Enjoyed the story. But yeah, even Gideon Falls or Oblivion Song. You know, I got this wide palette. And then you're going to take the stuff that fits inside of that and go all the way outside. Why? Make a statement? What kind of statement are you trying to make? I thought it was about dollars, and I didn't think that money was any color except green. So why are we worried about this, Marvel? Marvel cancels Ghost Rider, which had more sales than some of the other books, but the other books are preaching a different message that Marvel wants to preach, and so they keep them on board. Hey, it's a free country. You can do whatever you want to do, but man, how does this make any business sense? Kate Tide is joining us all the way from the land of the rising sun. Appreciate you joining. You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. And to me, and it might be because I'm missing it because I'm not a real big DC reader up until more recently, that DC's done some of the same thing. But to me, DC is sticking with character growth. They're putting some of the right players on the field, like when they changed out Tom King, put him on Strange Adventures. I hear good stuff about Strange Adventures that I didn't hear about his run on Batman. James Tynion's killing it on Batman. Scott Snyder, unfortunately, is going to walk away from Capes. He's probably going to do some more stuff like Undiscovered Country and the like in the coming year. But right now, him and Capullo are just tag teaming it. Awesomeness. And here's one right here, Legends of the Dark Knights. I failed to put that on my pull list, but my LCS knew I wanted it, so put it up. Man, I've been noticing some crazy stuff on that one, and that one even, but also especially the full one. Pocan Joe. Awkward sip of coffee. So yeah, it's like, give me a good story. How is this hard? I'm the guy that's got the disposable income. I'm the guy that's going to the LCS and dropping $100 here and there. I'm the guy that's got the wide taste that I can get action, I can get horror, I can get all these other kind of stuff. I'm the guy that you want to get. And I think there's a lot of other guys that are like me too. Why are you not appealing to that? Why do you not know where your niche is, Marvel? It is so crazy, so crazy, and it's so aggravating because, like say X-Men for example, y'all know my. Uh, I'll take another one, but it's so aggravating because those characters are so loved. Now they're using them in the MCU, and so now everybody, a lot of other people know them as well. And it's like, man, why are you just you're at the top of your game here. Why are you not continuing to maximize on it? Awkward snort of cocaine. I don't have any coke here. But this was the big boy that came in yesterday. Saw it on IG, made an offer on it, and we went back a little bit back and forth and was able to come to an agreement. I did not realize that it was coming in. Let's see what Aggressively Relaxing says. All of this is happening in one of Moria's lives. At the end of the Powers of X, we have a hive mind is still Moria's body. Moria is growing up and reading. She got body snatched. Okay. Yeah, and what I'm hoping is going to happen is going to be like a Dallas, where Bobby gets killed. They're really showing my age there, right? But they're going to wake up and they're going to say, "Man, that was bad." But Moria's got one more shot at it, right? Because if you remember, and I might be off on my lives, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think Destiny told her that if you do good, you might have one more life, and then I think that is like an extra one. So I'm hoping that she dies at the end of this one. They are moving towards the techno-organic virus stuff like Warlock, because Warlock's still alive. He is infecting it. Storm's infected. So the giant size X-Men, which weren't really all that great, are starting to tie together. So I'm hoping that a lot of this goes away. Strange Academy. Yeah, and that was kind of one of those sleepers for me anyway, because I've never been a big Doctor Strange fan. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Bobby in the shower. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so Dallas. That's why my name is Jason Richardson. My middle initials are as well. So used to they would not, or now rather, because my boss's name is Jason as well. They call me JR as opposed to calling me by my first name. And the reasoning behind that is never done before was because growing up, J.R. Ewing was the bad guy. So instead of calling me J.R. growing up, they never gave me that nickname. X-Men Turk to the weakest story, quick, fast, in a hurry, trying to make some sideline deep. Yeah, yeah. And I was okay with them pulling in the gold balls. I was okay with Hickman bringing in those fringe characters at first. It's like, okay, well, that's pretty cool, tying all that stuff in there together. But then now they're like I said, it's nothing but an orgy story every single issue. Now they're trying to really push some of those other characters that nobody likes, just because their story tells something. I'll give you an example of it. Iceman, Omega level mutant, and now his superpowers is his sexual orientation. Why? I don't care what he does with that stuff. I don't understand why they made him that way when he's always been a ladies guy. But at the end of the day, I don't care. That's him. That you do your thing. But in Marauders, you got an Omega level mutant, and all he is doing until the last couple of issues. Again, I've dropped Marauders now, but the last couple of issues, the only thing he does is he shows up and says, "Hey, how's it going?" And then he shows up, he kisses his boyfriend, and goes inside. What? What kind of stupid writing is this? Where do these people come from? Where do they learn writing from? Elementary school? I mean, or what are they? How old are these days? Yeah, JR says he is JR too. J- Biggie says Strange Academy is going to IMO. Yeah, I figure they're going to do something like that. No, my middle name is Ray. So kind of a funny story that nobody asked for, but I'll tell you anyway. So my middle name is Ray, R-A-Y. My father's middle name is W-R-A-Y. My brother's middle name is W-R-A-Y as well. So my father's name is Jay. And so yeah, that's right, Jay's son. It's funny because my great grandmother used to spell my name literally Jayson, which mine doesn't have the Y in it, but used to drive my mother insane because she cannot stand my father. She stood him long enough to have me and my sister, but outside of that, not much outside of that. So yeah, I'm Jay's son, and then have the very similar middle name. My second oldest child has the same initials, JRR. And then my youngest daughter has the same middle name spelled differently. It's R-H-A-E, Ray. So yeah, we don't really think outside the box much. Eat a bag of popsicles is not a superpower. Exactly. I mean, now when they found out when they dropped out and found out Kitty was dead, here he comes using his ice powers, Bishop's, coming on the scene. Okay, that's great. Where'd the rest of it go? I mean, I understand that there's a climax, right? Yeah, I understand there's such thing as a climax. I understand that. Okay. And so some issues are going to be better than others, but why would they go from suck to great? You can't do anything in between there. So Rob says his new granddaughter next week will be Raylan Grace. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. Mike Rogers, how are you doing today, sir? I have got a huge. It's absolutely big. It's going to be the grandest. It's going to be the best thing you ever see. Yeah, so I've got actually 3 packages coming from Mike Rogers. And so talking about that, and then of course, here comes Dead Zone Citizen. Got those 3 packages coming my way. Let's see. I hear that only male stories can climb. Well, female stories ones can too, Anyway, hey, if anybody has never checked out Mike Rogers auctions, you got to check them out. In particular, go to the one, I don't remember the date, but it was last week, last week. Yeah. That last Thursday, the 1.5 hour long auction just on one lot between me and Dead Zone Citizen mainly. And it was hilarious. Mike was definitely comic treatment. He, I'm not going to say what he was doing behind the scenes there, but go check it out. It's really funny. It must be like trying to keep ADHD kids focused over at Marvel. It's got to be, man. It's like, here you are, you're Marvel. You got all the great IP. You're killing it out there in the MCU. And you've got all these people that just got out of school and they're like, yeah, I'm going to make a statement with my writing. I'm going to be successful because you ought to make me successful. I deserve to be successful. And I want to make $1 million the first year out of school. That was my impression of kids these days. Okay. And there they are at Marvel. And Marvel just says, okay, yeah, go ahead, do your thing. It's great. And so it's like, really? I mean, why are you not putting killer people on your killer books? DC has got Robert Venditti, they got Scott Snyder, they got Capullo, they got Tynion. I mean, they've got some killer people in the books. If you're wanting to give a guy a shot, that's fine. You put them on a low tier book. You put them on, I can't think of a low tier book at Marvel. I try to not think about those issues, but to me, like a Miss Marvel. I was okay with Miss Marvel. until she had to be the captain, and until she had to have a change. I mean, her attitude in the Captain Marvel MCU movie and her attitude in the comics now is totally different. They totally retconned her origin story, and I just don't like it. And that's my opinion. That's it. Some people might like it. Anyhow, yeah, I get that way sometimes. Yeah, why would you do that? It makes no business sense to me. I mean, I thought this was about making money. The House of the Mouse, they're about making money. They got lots of it. If you'll notice, their stock price went up yesterday. Despite losing $5 billion, they still pulled a profit. You know why? Because they built a streaming service. It was like the guy was a genius before all this happened, because he put all the stuff in place. And so when all the corona happens, people were buying Disney Plus, and people are still buying all Disney stuff. And here you got all these projects. Now, Marvel, I will say, on their Star Wars line, they're way better in the comics than they are in the movies. I don't know why they're not taking the people from the comics and making them make the movies, because Darth Vader is the bomb in the Star Wars comics. I mean, he really showing out like the be a guy that he is. Why are you not doing that in the movies? Kylo Ren, I like the rise of Kylo Ren stories. Had some great art, good little backstory there. Put that out there. The Black Lightning Bolt costume, Miss Marvel, is your jam. Okay. It does look like the Black Lightning costume from DC. A lot of talent left Marvel after last Secret Wars. Marvel got cheap and decided not to pay good talent to go around. Go back and look, and you'll see. And that's a great point. I do remember a story about an artist. I think it was an artist or a writer, and he put out there on Twitter that, hey, Marvel, I still haven't got paid from Marvel all these months later. And Rob Liefeld, love him or hate him, he is a lightning rod in the industry still. And he's like, hey, Marvel, that's sorry, blah, 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 blah. Well, then all of a sudden he got a check. And that, I think that is it. You have got to create a winning strategy of balance to win in the marketplace. You can't pay these people peanuts and expect to get top tier talent. At the same time, you've got to have a balance, right? Because the company's got to make money. That's why they're there. They've got to make money. Okay. So you have to balance that out. Take away the corporate parachutes. I work for an insurance company. One of the competitors' CEOs recently left after having 3 years, lost millions of dollars for the company. I do appreciate it from the standpoint that he is taking one of my competitors out of my market. Okay, so that's great. So he walks away with a golden parachute. Meanwhile, the company's lost money. These people are going to lose their jobs. How is that even right? I mean, what harebrained person thought that was going to be a winning proposition? There's got to be some stipulations to success in there. I mean, there is for the average person out there working on the line, right? The average salesperson out there has to have success in order to make those bucks. Why can't the CEO? So you do have to have a winning combination there. The other thing with Marvel and Image and Boom and some of these other ones, they've given the ability to print your stuff out there, but maintain the property rights. And so you don't really make the check on the front end, you make it on the back end, provided you're successful. And so that's really what led to the rise of Image. And what has kept Image is the fact that the creators can own their stuff. If you build it up, then you win. And if you don't, you lose. That's the way it should work in the real world. Unfortunately, not everybody plays by the same rules. So Mike Rogers says, congratulations, Rob, on just being you. Oh, there we go. Rob says he is pretty amazing, isn't he? Hey, there you go. Nobody else is you. Might as well you do a good job of it. So I did get this one in the mail. I was not expecting it. I was actually fixing to message the people that sold this to me and say, hey, where's my tracking? And so this is a book I've been wanting to get for a little while. This is Batman 227 6.0, signed by Neil Adams himself, This is the homage to Detective 31 from way back in the day. I'd like to have a copy of that. Don't know if that'll ever be in the cards, but 6.0 white pages, signed by Neal Adams. Awesome Batman cover. I've got several homages to this. I'm going to pick up the Darkwing Duck one too, and got that in the mail yesterday. And so I'm looking for another banger today. Hopefully it comes in the mail. Typically these receipts or whatever, when they say, hey, they're going to be there Friday, means it's going to be there Monday for me. They're a day or two behind. T-Pain says that's one of the best Batman covers ever. Hey, I would agree. I mean, it's just so iconic. I did not, when I met Neal Adams, I picked up a copy of 251 at that show and got him to sign it there. But they did not have a 227, or it was a little more pricier than what I wanted to get. However, I have rectified that problem and now have one in the PC. Probably, that's right. It was an homage to Detective 31. Nice 6.0 is a high grade for that plus sign. Yeah, and white pages too. I mean, did not. I've got a raw. Oh, cool. Did that cost you $150? Unfortunately, no. That cost me a little bit more than $150. Neal Adams. Did he write that? I'm sure he'll write anything for the right amount of money. It is funny. Neal Adams does have a reputation for being a douchebag. I will say I have met him more than once. He is fairly pricey. I would think that as much as he charges for his cigs, which, hey, look, it's the marketplace, right? If Neal Adams put out there that he wants $50 for his cig and people are willing to pay for it, it's a free country. People can do it, right? Nobody forced me to get into Neal Adams' line and get him to sign a couple of things for me the last time I seen him, or time for last. So nobody forced me to do it. So it is the marketplace. It dictates as to whether or not he can get what he wants for his signature. But I would think that if somebody's paying me $50 for a signature, I'm going to hug your neck. I'm going to say how great you are. I love all my fans and that kind of thing. Look, I didn't get none of that. You know, I'm telling him I'm a fanboy. Man, I love that 251 cover. It was so awesome. And it's great. And he just like, okay, yeah, great. You know, so he signs. He's like, here you go. And then I'm like, hey man, can I take a picture with you? And he's like, yeah, it's $25. Okay, all right. So it says, please, Biggie Shaq, don't hurt me. Big Will says, I don't like that cover, but I love Tech 31. Big Will, look, man, you got to go with what you can get. Okay. Low grade's better than no grade. And a Batman 227 is definitely better than nothing at all. Big Will's so picky on his stuff. He just wants like 9/8 on everything. You know, when you're a high roller, you can do that kind of stuff. For most things, especially stuff that, I mean, that's from 1970, you know, especially for stuff, you know, older than that. Well, I'm okay with a low grade. If it presents good, we're good. I'd much rather have 2 or 3 books that are 5s or 5.0s that I can have different copies of, than have one book that's a 8 or 9/8. Yeah, it's only $10,000, right? I mean, what? Jay Hood says, I've found that Neal Adams doesn't know how to accept compliments he thinks he deserves. You know, he does brag on himself a lot, so it might throw him off. You might be right there. It might throw him off that he's like, are you just making fun of me, or are you really a fan? You know, if you tell him he's great, he blows it off. If he tells you he's great and you agree, it goes, oh, okay. Well, I'll have to remember that next time. I don't know that I'll ever find an occasion I want to pay $50 for a book from him. But you know, hey. And I understand, like, people like Neil Adams. You know, Peter David, I've talked to him before. He doesn't charge anything for his signature. He says that Neil Adams always tries to talk him into why he needs to sign for it. And he doesn't. He just puts a tip jar out there. But every time I've met Peter David, he's got a full tip jar. Okay. So it's different ways to go around it. Walmart sells in bulk. They make a smaller amount, but they sell a lot. And some people rather sell the smaller amount and make a lot on it. You know, it's whatever your business model, it's up to you. And the market decides whether or not it makes sense. But you know, to me, it's a little much what he's asked, but you know, Jim Lee and some of them other guys, they charge an awful lot. I just know that Neil Adams is an iconic artist, right? He did a lot of the iconic X-Men covers. He created Havoc. You know, he did a lot of the Batman covers. You know, just an iconic artist, right? So if I'm meeting this guy should be up there with some of the greats. So I should get all fanboyish inside. But I don't feel that with him because he's a douchebag. Or I feel that he's a douchebag. You know, I could have called him on a bad day, right? So anyhow, that's just my opinion. But you've got guys that have some level of success, maybe not to the tier of Neil Adams, and they will go on and on with you about their stuff. They will go on and on talking about what's your favorite book and all this other kind of stuff. And they don't have to. I mean, because they're kind of up there. I've already had their success. And that is the much more enjoyable experience. And what does that do? People like myself and others that they are in, have met, go out and tell others, hey, Greg Capullo's a nice guy. Clayton Crane's cool. And they go out there and tell these people. And then next time you're at a con and you see these people, you go, man, I'm going to go meet Greg Capullo because he's just an awesome guy. Scott Snyder, really friendly. David Finch, awesome guy to meet. Wants to talk to you. Talks about his kids and stuff. Douchebags are bad. If you are one, yes, it probably is one of the worst jobs ever to be a douchebag. I would think douchebags are appreciated, but so are garbage people. So, you know, you just got to put it in perspective, Rob. So, yeah, I mean, I meet these guys so take a Jim Steranko. Steranko takes forever. And some people might not like that. You know, like, give me my cig, I'm out of here. But all the stories he tells, and he goes on, and he didn't have to do that. My only complaint with Steranko was that he would not take a picture with me. I did sneak a picture of him, but they did being called a douchebag in some cases too. Peter David is great. He will talk to you forever. You almost can't get away from him. Yeah. Yeah. So Peter David was great. I mean, you know, here's a guy that's basically created the mythos that I remember for the Hulk. Okay. I mean, he did a lot of the X Factor runs. He did Aquaman when he lost his hand. Wasn't too much into that. But, I mean, he's been around a while, and he's done a lot of good stuff. Chris Claremont, same way. He's kind of like that awkward nice. You know, he's trying to be nice, but he really doesn't know how to be because, you know, he can be a real you-know-what. But, you know, he was nice. And they don't charge as much as Neil Adams does. Again, that's just my thoughts. I wish somebody called. Hey. Yeah, and he's a nice guy as well. And it's funny because Rob Liefeld, which I have not met him in personally. I have only exchanged emails with him, but I've not met him personally. But he is, oh man, I created Deadpool, blah 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 blah. Well, Fabian, he was a nice guy. He was telling me he got like a whole long box full of New Mutants 98s, and had them down in his basement. That when it was first printed, and of course back then, it was $1 a book. Who cared? Nobody knew that Deadpool would reach that status. And so his basement leaked and all of them got water damaged. And so now that is a lot of money down the drain. So think about if he had all those New Mutants 98s and today, for sure he would have a mint. But he was a real nice guy when I met him, got him to sign my New Mutants 100. X-Force 25, a couple other things. X-Force 25, that's the hologram cover. Capullo did that cover, and of course he wrote it. And so I went around the thing and got Capullo, and then he was like, "Hey, Greg's supposed to be here too. If you want to get him to sign this," he didn't have to do that. Rob Liefeld follows you on IG, so I bought some signed books off of Rob Liefeld's IG auction, and he finally contacts me about paying for them. And I'm like, I got them, and you never contacted me about how much I owed you, because his is it's like a scatterbrain auction. It's like, okay, put down this is you put down this, and this is what you do, and this is an awesome book, and I remember doing this, and I did this, and it sold out because my fans are awesome, and blah 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 blah, and that's how he does. And so you don't know whether or not you got it, because he doesn't pick it up and say, okay, all the A's are sold out, or all the B's are sold out, or nothing. It's just off the wall. And so I just assumed when I didn't hear from him, I didn't win them, that somebody else beat me to the auction stick. But yeah, he finally contacts me. And so I paid him, and eventually had to contact him as to why I hadn't got my books yet. Just saying. He did send them to me, and I got everything that I ordered and paid for. So it was all good. It was all good. But yeah, Rob, you must be the thing for Rob Liefeld to have you given him in a yeah, it's a cluster flop. That's a cluster flop. Notice what I did with the last of that. But yeah, so it is like that. And I've been on lots of auctions that were that way. But yeah, there's especially on IG, it's kind of like a little different dynamic than even the YouTube stuff is. But Rob Liefeld, he's all over the picture, but he's that high strung anyway. If you ever looked at any of his videos or stuff like that, he's high strung, and then there's high talks. But I appreciate his energy when it comes to this industry that he's grown up in and made all this money in. I appreciate it. Better than the dude that now. So, yeah, and some people are really good at it, and some people are not. I've been on IG auctions, and I just got off because they're playing the music in the background. And I know the purpose of playing the music, but I can't hear anything they're saying, and they're all over the place, and and you really can't go back, especially if you have to jump out and jump back in. You can't go back and scroll up and say where you bought something before. Like YouTube, you can go back and reference it because it's going to be up later. But Rob Boswell follows me on IG. Hey, there you go, because Rob Boswell is a winner. Discovery Bay follows me if we're name dropping. Yeah, we're kind of name dropping. Well, hey. There was, yeah, so that's pretty cool. Well, hey guys, we're over an hour. We're down to 9 people that are still hanging out. I do appreciate everybody for still hanging out with me, but I do have another conference call that I've got to get on. So I've got to get off of this right now. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and the subscribe button. Remember, you can reference my IG page for the instructions. If you're not familiar with how to get this banger right here, newsstand of X-Men 266, Gambit's second appearance. And that way you can get in on to win it, because we are soon to give it away, I think. However, That's going to be up to you. So be sure to share it out on the IG world and the YouTube world. And so the faster we get to hitting those numbers, the more likely we will give it away, and more likely we'll give it away sooner. And because you have done what you needed to do, you will be on the hashtag unrigged wheel. So I do appreciate everybody for stopping by. Yeah. Thank you, sir. And just for that, until next time, keep reading and keep collecting.